Hello, sports fans. This is the Bookmaker Podcast with Art Eftekhari, a.k.a. Mr. Bookmaker, your source for the sports betting industry 24/7. Sit back, relax, and listen as Mr. Bookmaker highlights what's happening right now in the world of sports. So, without further ado, here's your host, Art Eftekhari.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Bookmaker Podcast. I'm your host, Art Eftekhari. Glad you can join us. Before we get things rolling, get to our website as soon as you can. You know the address, bookmakerinfo.com. That's www.bookmaker-info.com. You know the deal. We got the links to all the best European, Asian, and United States friendly bookmaker sites, and our bookmaker guide is available for you to download. So, like I told you before, stop wasting time. Hurry up and download it. Before we get to our A to Z sports betting lingo, make sure you check out our blogs on our website. Dan is the master with cricket, and Patrick, of course, is the master with American sports. These guys are working hard. Please show them some support. And also make sure to check out the Mr. Bookmaker football blog, or soccer, depending on where you are in the world. Now, for our A to Z sports betting lingo, what is our concept for today? It is scam decapper. Right now, what is a scam decapper? Well, that is a tipster or tout that gives outlandish promises about win percentages and expectations. So watch out for those scam decappers. You never know what they're going to try and pull. Okay, to start things off, I am at 10bet. That's www.10bet.com. And the first thing I'm focusing on for this edition of the Bookmaker Podcast is UEFA Nations League. All right, there's already been a few match days played, and right now let's take a look at which teams are favored to win the first ever edition of UEFA Nations League. As I mentioned before, there are 4 groups of 3 teams in League A. So you got groups 1, 2, 3, and 4. As of right now, in Group 1, France, Germany, and Holland. Group 2, Belgium, Switzerland, Iceland. Group 3, Portugal, Italy, Poland. And Group 4, Spain, England, and Croatia. Now, as for the outrights, which teams are favored to win the first ever edition of UEFA Nations League? Right now, Spain is the favorite with 3-1 odds. Can't say that I am surprised about this, considering they thrashed Croatia 6-0. Clearly, the Croatians must have been suffering some kind of hangover from coming so close to winning the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. Then you got France, 15-4. You know, why isn't France favored to win Nations League? I mean, they just won the World Cup. What's the deal with that? Well, I guess the bookies at 10bet know something. Then Belgium with 9-2 odds. Germany 6-1. And I'm sure right now there's many people saying, you know, why Germany? What did they show at the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia? You know, I'm just going to leave it at that. But there are some good games coming up on the next match day of UEFA Nations League. And one of those games will take place on Saturday, the 13th of October, between Netherlands and Germany in Amsterdam. That is one I cannot wait to watch. There's been plenty of history between the neighboring countries of Netherlands and Germany. They played each other in the 1974 World Cup final. The Germans, at that time known as the West Germans, were victorious 2-1. Even 4 years later, they tied 2-2 at the 1978 World Cup in Argentina. They have put on tons of classics. Of course, nobody can forget the 1988 European Championship semifinal. So if you want some more information on UEFA Nations League, check out the Mr. Bookmaker football blog. I have made sure to provide you with all the UEFA Nations League information that you can get. So check it out as soon as you can. And before we continue, make sure you get to our website as soon as you can. We got tips on how to register, bet, and withdraw. We got our A to Z sports betting lingo. Like I've said before, you may not be an expert at this entire online betting process, but you can sound like an expert. All you got to do is check out our A to Z sports betting lingo, and you got to keep on listening to the Bookmaker Podcast. Okay, continuing on now, I'm still at 10bet. You know the address, www.10bet.com. Next, it's time to look at the favorites to win this newest edition of UEFA Champions League. Now, who are those 4 teams? We'll start with the top 4 teams here, of course. Not a surprise. At the top, you got Manchester City of England, 5-1 odds. Right after them, Barcelona, 11-2. Some very familiar names. We got the usual suspects here. Juventus, 13-2. Not a surprise, especially now that they got Cristiano Ronaldo, also known as CR7. What about Liverpool? 15-2 odds. You know, when you talk about teams that are hungry, of course, Liverpool is hungry. I mean, they came so close against Real Madrid. Obviously, it was really heartbreaking and disappointing to see Mohamed Salah go out early with an injury. And as for Manchester City, right now they are favored to win the 2018-2019 UEFA Champions League. Manchester City definitely hungry to get that trophy. Let's go over their groups real quick. Manchester City grouped with Lyon of France, Shakhtar Donetsk of Ukraine, and 1899 Hoffenheim. Don't really envision Manchester City having too many problems in this group, but they did start off with a 2-1 loss at home to Lyon. So you never know. I mean, Manchester City is favored, but you can't get carried away that quickly. What about Barcelona in Group B? They are grouped with Inter Milan, Tottenham, and PSV Eindhoven. You know, I can't really see Barcelona having too much trouble in this group. No disrespect to teams like Tottenham or PSV or Inter Milan, but Barca started off with a 4-0 win at home against PSV Eindhoven. And of course, who scored a hat-trick in that game? Lionel Messi. You know, anytime I see the scoreboard or any kind of update involving Barcelona, you just right away know Lionel Messi had something to do with those goals. I mean, the guy is a monster. Next, how about Juventus, grouped with Manchester United, Valencia, and Young Boys of Switzerland. This should be a group where Juventus comfortably advances to the knockout phase. And they did start off with a 2-0 win against Valencia in Spain. So a good start for CR7, aside from him being dismissed from that match. And what about Liverpool, grouped with Red Star Belgrade of Serbia, Napoli of Italy, and PSG of France, better known as Paris Saint-Germain. You know, Liverpool, they started off with a 3-2 win over PSG at home. You know, what an entertaining match that was. So like I said, get to 10bet.com as soon as you can if you want to place some wagers on UEFA Champions League and, of course, UEFA Nations League. Shifting gears now, we are getting closer to wrapping up this edition of the Bookmaker Podcast. And of course, I'm at one of my favorite bookies. You know, basically when I'm in the mood to check out some of these special bets or entertaining bets, I go to Paddy Power. That's www.paddypower.com. Let's see what's going on in the world of politics in USA, the United States of America. How about House midterms and Senate midterms? Which party will hold the majority of seats? First, for the House of Representatives, if you think it's going to be a Democratic majority, odds are 4-9, 6-4 for Republican majority, 50-1 for no majority. As for the Senate, 4-7 if you think it's going to be a Republican majority, 11-5 for no majority, and 5-1 for a Democratic majority. I've gone over this special bet in the past before, but might as well mention it real quick. Will Trump complete his first term in office? If you choose yes, odds are 1-2. If you choose no, 6-4. Now, what about the United States Supreme Court confirmation? There's been a lot of traffic, a lot of headlines going on involving Brett Kavanaugh. So if you think Brett Kavanaugh will be confirmed as Justice of the Supreme Court in 2018, the odds here show 3-10. And then 21-10 for Brett Kavanaugh not to be confirmed as Justice of the Supreme Court in 2018. Now, as for another one, as we're getting ready to finish off this edition of the Bookmaker Podcast, what about the Time Person of the Year? Those of you who love reading Time magazine, I'm sure you've seen those magazine covers over and over for a long time. Who is going to be the Time Person of the Year for 2018? Is it going to be Donald Trump, 9-4 odds? How about Colin Kaepernick with 5-2 odds, former starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers? This is an interesting wager. I think he has a good chance of winning. Maybe you think it'll be Elon Musk, 3-1 odds, Emma Gonzalez, 5-1, Pope Francis, 6-1, or Kim Jong-un, leader of North Korea, with 7-1 odds. There's plenty more that you can place a wager on, or maybe Harry Kane with 100-1 odds, striker for Tottenham Hotspur, and of course, the English national team. So like I said, get to Paddy Power as soon as you can. That's www.paddypower.com. And with that, everybody, it is time to wrap up this edition of the Bookmaker Podcast. Really do appreciate the support. Like I said earlier, get to our website as soon as you can. Make sure you check out our blogs. Dan knows his cricket. Patrick knows his American sports. So please show them some support. Give them a follow. And also, don't forget to check out the Mr. Bookmaker football blog, especially if you want all the helpful information that you can get involving UEFA Nations League. Thank you for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.
This has been the Bookmaker Podcast with Art Eftekhari, a.k.a. Mr. Bookmaker. Thanks for listening. If you haven't already, please show some love by subscribing to this podcast on iTunes or Stitcher. Till next time, this is Mr. Bookmaker over and out.